Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. This morning is, well, early, pleasant. It hasn't gotten stupid hot yet, which it's gonna do. I was working on another channel project this morning, PB&J, which is Prepper, the B word involving Hawaiian shirts, and Jam. And it's something I probably should have started in 2015. I've been thinking about it since about 2013, actually. But definitely in 2015, I started looking deeply at topics like what to do if your car is stuck in a riot. And I got yelled at quite extensively at the time for suggesting that rioters would want to do violence to people in their cars. And, well, here we are in 2020, and people are getting shot through their windows. So, you know, I had a lot of predictive stuff that I talked about in 2015, 2016, and it almost seems trite now because it's all come to pass, but I don't think I'm so far behind the curve that insights and viewpoints are worthless. So we'll see if I can keep that momentum on that one enough to actually make it work. Who knows? The hiatus on this channel was actually due to me trying to figure out if I was going to try to polish it and make it into a more documentary style channel. And, you know, the thing is, I look at a lot of data, I integrate a lot of data, I look at a lot of sources and resources, and I don't, at some point in time, and I think this happened on Google+, but Google+ also kind of mitigated a little bit. Some point in time, this started in the late 90s, the ability to throw research papers at an opponent became more important than any reality basis in an argument or a debate, or an exchange of ideas. Because an exchange of ideas, or putting a mind virus in someone, wasn't the point. The point was to prove your ability to find research papers, apparently. And one of the things that I've been thinking about with this channel is that I want to avoid that. There's a lot of stuff where I can integrate the data. I can look at the ages of people, the coronavirus percentage, mortality percentage rates, the diet issues we've had since the 1970s, the tendency to blame people for a structural issue. I can look at all that and I can put it together. The big integrator behind my forehead here, which everyone has. And I can do that without having to come up with 17 research papers that all miss major parts of what I'm looking at. And that's part of the problem with the research paper model of idea exchange, is that every time I look at a research paper, I can see, not every time, most of the time with many research papers, I can look at it and before I'm halfway through the paper, I've got a list of over 8 things that invalidate the paper. Just the research model. You know, you look at any number of diet issues and I can say, okay, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't control for that. It becomes really easy, really fast. Psychology is even better than diet, which is crazy because diet is amazingly bad for research papers. And so I'm trying to avoid the research paper bingo model, but I was thinking for a long time of doing more of that, putting more references in, trying to build more of a documentary style. And I don't think that actually works for me. And if I ever get more than like 20 subscribers, maybe it won't work for my audience either. You know, I want to look at topics. My stumbling towards utopia, I have so much material on there, but I need to just let it out. I kind of just need to let it all hang out. Take what you want, dispense what you want. The thing isn't to take what I say as some sort of gospel truth. Like when I say consensus decision making is bullying, I'm not condemning all forms of consensus at all points in time in every situation. But the converse of that is that people present consensus decision making as if it has an inherent fairness or structure or like a religious mode. They have a faith that it just is better, and it's not necessarily the case. Most often it's not the case. It is a means of social bullying, and it's important to recognize that. It's important to recognize that even if you want to continue to use the tool, because you need to be able to use the tool in a better fashion. So if I bring up something about masks, which I'm so done with masks. They have taken over the one thing we have that absolutely works for preventing the spread of coronavirus, but in the population, is hand washing, and masks have eclipsed everything up to and including access to sinks. We have these little hand sanitizer spray bottles everywhere, and you get this little DEET electronic thing that gives you a little less than a dime-sized bit of foam, and it's supposed to sanitize your whole hand and do the same job, and it doesn't. It's so sad. But masks are actually a really good thing to look at because they have become religious icons, and they've become more and more religious icons just in the last couple of weeks since I started saying that. We now have states passing permanent mask laws, like not for the duration of the emergency, but forever, where any official can at any point in time determine that you must wear masks in these designated areas, which they can determine by law randomly at any point in time. It's literally a cop can stop you and say, hey, I've decided that I don't like the weather today, you have to wear masks. They're passing these laws. Massachusetts looks like it's leading the way along with New Jersey and New York, but there's some craziness there. So this is a little bit of a rambling, non-topical video, obviously, with my morning coffee. I think the PB&J channel has an opportunity to be a little bit of a different focus for me, and allows me to kind of separate out some of the stuff with this channel, because this channel's not supposed to be about current events specifically, although current events make me think about how the world is sideways quite often. I would like to talk more about terraforming the planet, and that's one that's going to be a lot of fun, because I feel like environmentalists are stuck in this pre-Columbian stasis mentality. Columbus destroyed the world because industrialization, the age of exploration, everything came after the one voyage by Columbus, where he sort of kind of rediscovered the Americas, kind of. And it's hilarious because the stasis that they want is the global warming that came after the little ice age. And it's amusing. You know, they come up with these arbitrary numbers like there should only be 100 million humans on the planet. That's the natural environmental, and there's no natural environmental capacity because the environments are dynamic. And we have billions and billions of people, and we're going to continue to have billions and billions of people, and we need to terraform the planet. Humanoform the planet. And as much as you think that sucks, it's better to work with it than to not work with it. Because if you try to prevent humans from using their environment, you're going to lose. Humans have survival drives, and that's just going to be there. I'd like to do a lot more about terraforming. I have a couple of videos ready to go for that. I actually need to drive down to Mina and film some stuff in front of the old lobster shack just to make one of those videos. What else do we have going on? You know, we're in the middle of massive civil unrest, which is just mind-boggling at how it's being engineered. You have to laugh, though. I had a question on the last video about, like, what do you do? Like, where do you get your information if you can't trust the news media? And we're at a point where that's really a very good question. We have simultaneously a massive freedom of information and a massive control of the flow of that information, such that we have something worse than most Soviet propaganda from the 70s and 80s. And it's very confusing, very difficult, and very mind-bending to look at it, because there are thousands of hours of amateur video of Portland, where we've been having this civil unrest for a couple of years. It's the weekend Antifa party. You know, beat someone in the head, give them a TBI, and then blame them for it. And that's the problem, is the media will literally blame someone for it. We have a combination of a media control of the narrative, and it's a very monopolistic, conspiratorial control. They march in lockstep, and it is conspiratorial. And you have that combined with a combination of mob and corporate censorship on social media that prevents you from seeing other perspectives. That's kind of amazing. You know, the current Pravda is that we have illegally uniformed federal agents illegally using illegal rental cars to illegally kidnap people off the streets with no charges, no criminal activity, no nothing going on, and they're all peaceful protesters. And that narrative is so slanted, I literally can't believe that someone... My brother-in-law buys it, 100%. Absolutely. No critical thinking involved. And I can't believe it. Like, I understand. Believe me, federal agents can do bad things, okay? I remember Waco. But the narrative is so one-sided, I can't believe anyone looks at it uncritically and just, oh yeah, that's just absolutely the way it is. Wow, it's amazing. All right, this video is creeping into that whole 15-minute territory, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off very quickly. Good morning. Enjoy your coffee. Have a great day. Stay sideways, and just don't trust what you see online. Think a little bit, and think sideways.